So I went back and rewatched basically the whole Elidibus fight, you know, the cutscene before it and during it and after and everything, just to kind of get to watch it with like a fresh focus, you know, because last night I was just so tired and kind of not focused, not really in the moment. And I gotta say, still don't get Elidibus. I don't understand his character and what, I mean, if you just look at him as, oh, he's just another Assi and another one of the Unsundered, okay, it's fine. But when you try to get into the details as to who he was as the emissary and even some of his lines after you defeat him, and it's, you know, his whole, I don't know, he talks about, I can't remember the exact wording, but like breaking himself away from Zodiark, and he did it all for his brothers or whatever, and I don't understand exactly what the significance of all that is, what that is supposed to mean. And maybe it has something to do with him being the emissary or something, because I still don't understand what the significance of him bringing the balance with the light and the dark. And I mean, I thought all of them were just supposed to be toward the dark, and I don't totally get it. So I think a lot of the emotional weight of his death and that whole ending cutscene just does not resonate with me, because I don't think I understand him in his whole thing. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I get that, like, he doesn't remember why, or at least up until maybe at the end he finally remembered, but even then it didn't help me understand any. But like, I get he didn't remember why he was doing what he was doing. He just knew he needed to do it. Which in a way was kind of, I think there was a parallel with Graha, you know, because the whole speech, you know, he says he says a similar line and you question him on it and why he followed you and blah, 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 blah. You know, and he just said there was no choice at all. And I think there were some similarities in kind of why he and Elidibus were doing what they were doing or something. But I don't know. It just, even then, it's like, okay, I get it. He doesn't remember, and he's just kind of doing this because it's his job. He knows it's something he's supposed to do. But then why doesn't he remember when certainly Emmett Selk did? And that's how he was able to create that faux Emerald. I guess, you know, part of that could be because he was sacrificed to Zodiark and then broke himself off from Zodiark. I don't even fully understand. Maybe we're not supposed to, and we'll get more in Endwalker. I don't know. But anyway, let us continue on with this. And I'm glad that I stopped when I did last night, because I was tempted to just finish it all off, but I know there's some really kind of heavy stuff coming up, and I didn't want to be like I was last night, where it would have just gone through one ear and out the other or whatever. I just was not all there. The only way is forward. So I have to believe that whatever lies ahead will be better than what came before. At such moments, it is hard to know what to say. Are you all right, my friend? You did well, Lavenza. You and the Exarch. Shortly after you left, We observed that our enemies' ranks were no longer being replenished. Presumably, when your absence was noted. So we polished them off and came as quickly as we could. Which is to say, not quickly enough, but then you had the Exarch for company, didn't you? And you could ask for no better than that. Okay, that line I recognize. I didn't recognize any of the others. Ere we descended from the throne room, I did chance upon an object, which if I have the right of it, did once... Mine apologies. Mayhap now is not an appropriate time. Let us speak of it later. Okay, and I recognize his as well. Because I think both of those were ones that I got, like, caught up in or whatever. Nothing unsaid. Yasola's eyes seem to be staring into your very soul. Lavenza, if you are ready, would you recount to us how the day unfolded? This is going to take a bit. So you reached out to Elidibus at the last, and his heart was moved. Okay. I'm not sure I did the right thing, and it changed nothing. I only did as you asked. Well, I definitely don't feel the first one. And I'm not so dismissive as I only did as you asked, so I'm going to go with the second one. Perhaps not. Ultimately, you had no choice but to strike him down. But the important thing is this. Though violence proved unavoidable, you did at least come to understand your foe. No, I didn't. I mean, I understood him as much as... Well, no, not as much as... I understood him insofar as I understood Emmett Selk and was able to project that onto him. But Elidibus himself, I don't know why. There's something there I must be missing. And in knowing his hopes and dreams, do we best remember him and his legacy. I mean, I get the hopes and dreams, wanting to be with your own people again. And again, if he did finally come to remember, in the same way as with Graha, you know, remembering those halcyon days and wanting to go back to them. That I get, but everything else is over my head, I guess. So long as they remain unforgotten, the love he and his brethren bore for one another and the star may yet be rewarded. You said that an ancient came to your aid, but how is that possible? A gift from Emmett Selk. He knew of Elidibus's plight. Foreseeing his own death, he made provisions to bring Elidibus's suffering to an end, lest his friend be left to continue the struggle alone. That's interesting. It's interesting that he essentially had a change of heart in the end. I mean, he kind of did at the very, very end. I mean, at least, you know, remember us, remember that we lived or whatever. And maybe it was in that moment he did whatever he did to help us at this point and finally let go. I don't know, it's interesting. There's a lot that can be said there. Whether or not it's true, I don't know. Or so I wildly speculate. It is unlikely we will ever know the truth. Yeah, just like I was saying. The best we can do is to remember events as they happened, no more and no less. As the Ronkin so rightly put it, history is learned, not lived. Ah, there you all are. Backlug, my friend, we were given to understand thou wert injured. Should thou not be abed? Lie down at a time like this? Don't be absurd. I would have come sooner had the guards not made such a fuss. Now, tell me what's happened. Where's the Exarch? I've got him in my pocket. Carry him around like a keychain. I think it even has a little loop at the bottom. I see. Lavenza, will you show me his spirit vessel? Yeah, see the little loop. I keep my key to the waking sands there. Yes. Both his soul and memories seem intact. Good. Unlike the others, his ether was not highly charged, and so it did not seem necessary to employ a familiar for the imbuing. But I needed to be certain all the same. Oh, what a relief. Huh, was not highly charged. Don't know what that means. Not an aetherologist. Then 'tis but a question of restoring his soul unto his flesh. And as thou didst lately tell me, the success of this process resteth on no more than our friend's soul recognizing his flesh as its own. And like the two souls or memories or whatever, you know. What did he call it? It was like mixing, maybe, or curdling. I remember the word curdling. Yeah. Given his apparent desire to return to the source with Lavenza, one would think his soul would be only too happy to be home, no? Surely it wouldn't balk at the relative newness of its accommodation. Yeah, it's interesting, too, to think of exactly how Graha feels about us. You know, his apparent desire to return to the source with Lavenza. It's just interesting, you know, because there's always the, you know, people bring up the desire to be able to have romantic relationships with, you know, any one of the, you know, the other characters in the game. But, you know, it makes you think about how the other characters think of you. And certainly I would think Graha is probably one of the, like, has one of the strongest attachments. But, you know, whatever that actually is, you know, to what level that is at, I guess leave it up to the imagination. That's what the, you know, developers, I think, have said a lot of times, is kind of leave a lot of stuff to us, you know. Let the player kind of go where they want with it. As long as it's not too lewd. So one would hope, but none can speak for the Exarch's heart of hearts. and he can no longer speak for himself. Furthermore, though I have drawn upon all of my not inconsiderable experience to predict the outcome, the fact remains that there is no direct precedent for what we are attempting. Will his body accept his soul? Will his essences blend properly? Will he awaken whole of mind? Any number of things could go awry. Assuming I have succeeded in tempering your expectations, I should probably add that I did ask the Exarch if he still wished to return to the source, in full knowledge of the risks. A simple enough question, one would think, warranting a single word reply. Yet the answer I received was rather longer than that. Almost comically so, in fact. Regardless, out of respect for the man, I shall attempt to recite it, with a certain amount of poetic license. As I grew older, the burdens I carried became ever more numerous. Burdens which weighed upon my hopes, burying them deep within my breast. So deep that I couldn't be certain they were still there. But when I look around me, I am reminded that no matter how deeply buried they may be, our hopes never truly disappear. No, they are always with us, guiding us, driving us. I see it in Vothri, who sought to vindicate his existence by creating his paradise. I see it in Ranjit, who forsook his life's cause in order to protect that which he held most dear. I see it in the people, who chose to struggle rather than surrender to despair. And though our struggles may differ greatly, since the very beginning of time, they have all shared that one common thread: hope. We struggle because we have hope, and when the time comes, I too will embrace mine. I will follow my heart, regardless of the risks. And I will live with all my being, as befits one who has been granted a second chance. There, I told you it was long, and unspeakably sentimental to boot. One would think them the outpourings of a dewy-eyed boy, not the old man the Exarch seems to behave, or believe he is. I mean, really, he's scarcely been alive as long as I've been in hiding. I dare say he is blushing in his vessel. Speaking of which, we should make ready for our journey. Time remains of the essence after all. Needless to say, once we leave, there is no guarantee that we can return. If anyone has unfinished business, now is the time to see to it. I must pay a visit to Slitherbough. Let us reconvene here anon. There remain some few matters which require mine attention in Ilmeg. May I leave Thancred in thy care, child? It's like leave him in... Okay. I've been meaning to get some flowers for Minfilia. I thought you might help me choose them, and then we could go to Nabatharang together, one last time. A fine suggestion. Lead on. Well, it's back to Yulmore for me. Amongst other things, I owe the mayor an apology about his airship. I assume you have places of your own to be, Alize? I shall see you later. I assume we're going to be talking to her next. I shall take this opportunity to conduct a final inspection of the spirit vessels. Given what is at stake, one can never be too thorough. As you've probably guessed, I'm going to pay a visit to the inn at Journey's Head, but I want you to come too. I realize you don't need to say any farewells, but the Exarch does, if only in spirit, so I thought you might bring him along, so to speak. I'm sure he'd love the thought of being lugged about on his hero's back. So let's be off, shall we? I can't wait to see how Haldrick's doing. Yeah, okay, it's the same. Of course it would be. Yeah, it's interesting. I've watched some of these cutscenes, or rewatched some of these cutscenes several times since doing them originally, watching other people react to them and so forth. In most of the cases, I'm not really paying attention to what like the characters in game are saying. I'm, paying attention to the reaction or whatever. But, in a lot of those cases, the other people kind of cut it up, into more highlights or whatever. So a lot of this stuff I didn't even remember, and most people don't include it in their videos. So, again, I'm glad that I decided to take a break and come back to this stuff the next day, because this is there's a lot more to this than I remember. Halric? Halric! Oh gods, don't tell me he's wandering off again. Quickly, Lavenza, we have to find him. Oh, Alize, I didn't see you there. If you're looking for Halric, he's gone for a walk with one of the others. They were planning to visit the graveyard, if I'm not mistaken. Well, that's a relief. Shall we adjourn to the graveyard then? Oh, greetings, Lavenza. Looking for Halric by any chance? Indeed. Let's see what the young lad has to say. There he is. I was afraid he had wandered off again. Oh, there's no need to worry. Halric's safe and well. He's been showing good progress and likes to go for walks of late. Though his steps usually bring him to this particular spot. Oh? I wasn't aware he had family here. He doesn't. It's Tesleen. Her sword, that is. We buried it here in her honor. So he remembers. What brings you back so soon, out of interest? I didn't think the next round of treatments were due yet. No, it isn't. Look, I realize this is sudden, but I've come to say goodbye. It's time for me to return home. But rest assured the treatments will continue. Becklug will come to oversee them in my stead. I see. You did mention that you and your friends were searching for a way home. Needless to say, we'll be sorry to see you go, but I know everyone will be happy for you, truly. Happy and grateful. You've done so much for us, achieved what none of us dared hope was possible. And we'll see to it that your good work continues, and that no more poor souls are buried here before their time. So rest easy and take care. We wish you every happiness. Thank you. I will miss you all. But it isn't time to say our farewells quite yet. So if there are any tasks that need doing, hunting beasts, fetching water, and what have you, just say the word. I mean to make use of every last moment here, after all. The time left to you is precious. That's right, Halric. That's exactly right. It's interesting. You know, I was almost kind of joking, you know, what does Halric have to say? Although I wouldn't have been surprised if he had something to say. But the fact that he said that is actually quite nice. Those words will guide you true, so never forget them. And neither will I. Thank you for coming to see Halric, Lavenza, and Tesleen as well. She did always enjoy having visitors, and none were more welcome than you and Alize. Take care. What? I'm not crying. I just have sand in my eye, that's all. As I mentioned, I mean to stay here as long as possible. In the meantime, perhaps you can go and look in on the others. Alphino, for instance. If anyone is crying, it will be him. So I guess, yeah, we're now on to a victory lap. When they were saying they were going off to different places, I kind of... Oh. All right. But I thought I kind of recalled that there was something like this. Like, I think here, what is it, Dulia or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, Alpha, no.
Gets all worked up.
Please, Lady Chai, dry your eyes.
The thought of never seeing you again is more than my poor heart can bear.
Oh, it's you. As you can see, Alphino has broken the news. I don't know how to console her. She thinks we'll be lost without him.
It's interesting to think of like how attached she got to him. And quite quickly, too. You're certainly well loved. Make sure you leave nothing unsaid. A picture paints 1,000 words. I kind of like that one.
You'll never let me forget it, will you? I'll have you know I completed the promised painting in the end. Be that as it may, there are times only words will suffice. Lady Chai, I have a confession to make. On the day we ousted Lord Vorthry, when I revealed the truth of his tyranny and your complicity in his crimes, I did so with great trepidation. Not out of fear that you wouldn't listen, but that you might never recover. There was a time when I, too, in my hubris, believed myself worthy to lord it over others. And when the lie was laid bare, when I was forced to confront the cost, the lives lost, it all but destroyed me. To awaken from a naive dream to so harsh a reality, I would have understood had you all surrendered to despair.
It's amazing how mature he is now for being so young. It almost makes you forget that he's still a child.
But you didn't surrender. Far from it. You picked yourselves up and rose to the challenge. You found a path forward and the strength to walk it, and to keep walking it, day after day. But what struck me is how much faster you found it than I did.
Really? That felt pretty slow to me. But rest assured, we'll make Yulmore into a nation anyone would be proud to call home. Eventually. You can still come and go as you please, I believe. When we have good tidings to report, I may trouble you to be their bearer. There may also be less than good tidings, in which event I hope I can trouble you for your counsel.
I should be honored to provide it, Master Chai.
Oh, Alphino, I know you aren't one to sit still, but do remember to take your ease from time to time. And no matter where you are, remember that there are people here who are praying for your health and happiness.
It's interesting. The Chais are, I think, better parents to him than his own parents, or at least his father.
Our brave and gentle artist. You have our love, now and always.
And you mine. Please take care.
I hear the airship crashed in Amarang. Never mind. The important thing is you're all safe and well. That said, we should probably retrieve the wreck before the locals strip it for trolley parts. Or perhaps we can make a trade of it. Oh, thank goodness you can still return. If I had to bid farewell to you both, my heart would burst here and now. Like Alphino, I know that yours is a life of constant employment, but do visit us from time to time. It would mean the world to us. I understand the Exarch will be leaving with you. Capable though its custodians are, the Crystarium will be poorer for his absence. It seems the coming years will be a period of transition for both our cities. But through mutual cooperation, I am confident we will find a way forward. Yeah, that actually makes me think of what the Crystarium will be like. Because, I mean, from my understanding, it was just like a... I don't know, everybody just, I think, gave leadership essentially to the Crystal Exarch, and there wasn't really like any form of like government or whatever there, where obviously like here there's at least like a mayor or whatever. So I wonder what they will do, because there's nobody I can think of that could really take a leadership position. Not in that capacity. Because obviously the one that probably has the most time with the Exarch to kind of know kind of how he did things was probably Lena. But I think she's more, you know, like a military type of leader. And would probably be best kept as, you know, the leader of the guard or whatever. It's just, I don't know, interesting to think about. 'Tis a strange feeling, Lavenza, to stand in the company of our friends, knowing that I will never see them again. I struggle to reconcile it in my head. But this I know, I shall cherish my memories of Norvrant, of every soul I met here for the rest of my days. And I shall look forward to your tales of their endeavors. I mean, this just makes me think of, like, is there really no way they could ever get back? I mean, is it only because we're the Warrior of Light that we're able to travel back and forth? Like, that there couldn't be some other way of creating a link between the two worlds? I don't know. Thank you for watching this video. Tonight's stream was just cleaning up what we had left of 5.3, which wasn't a whole lot, but was also more than I was expecting. So I'm actually kind of glad I eventually broke 5.3 up into 2 nights. I kind of wish I had broken it up earlier on the first night, stopped a little bit earlier. Because I think, as I had said in the previous outros, I didn't really enjoy the last bit of the previous stream just because I was so tired and kind of lack of focus. But tonight was much better, and 5.3 is just, I mean, it's an amazing patch. It's a long patch. But it's an amazing one. The story in it is just amazing, and like I don't know if you could have a more perfect ending to an expansion, because the 0.3s are kind of technically the end of the expansion, and it was just phenomenal. So yeah, we've got 5.4 and 5.5 almost done with Shadowbringers and ready for Endwalker. So yeah, I look forward to it. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to join me live for whatever post Final Fantasy XIV shenanigans I'm up to, and some I'm still going to continue to play and stream Final Fantasy XIV. It's just not as much of it. But anyway, if you want to come and join me for that, the link to my Twitch is in the description down below. Thank you again for watching, and have a good one.